Hey guys, I don't know how long this is gonna go. My battery's getting low, but that's okay. This is like a last minute thing, and I think I'm gonna start doing this monthly when something comes up on my mind. You know, like my last 2 cents, but I guess I'll call it my last two hops. So it's things just pop into my head, you know, and I think of different things like how I could talk about efficiencies and why I keep brewing, which I've done one of those before. And one of them that came to me was about my brew system. And I've been saving up money to buy a nice brew system, but I've really been trying to figure out what do I want? Because I see guys that have these expensive brew systems, you know, and I get, you know, looking at them like, wow, envious, you know, $20,000, $30,000 brew systems, and they look amazing. But then I see other guys making great beer with the system like I have, which is all gravity, and thinking, man, do I really need it? And I think it comes down to a few things. Well, one thing is repeatability is huge. When you're brewing, you want to make sure that you can make the same beer over and over as close as you can, or it's a crapshoot. And a lot of that has to do with temperature. And temperature in your brewing isn't that hard to do. You know, if you got a heater, and your mash tun, I guess, is important. You can keep it within a degree. But fermentation is huge, that you can keep it at the temperature you want. So I'm at the point now, I'm looking at keeping myself on a gravity system and going toward maybe putting the money into maybe a mash tun that's stainless steel so I can clean it better, maybe a larger volume. But also that I'm looking at maybe buying a fermentation vessel, maybe 20 gallons, that is stainless steel, that I can do bigger amounts in at the same temperature, and maybe even a glycol system. I mean, wow, I'm a refrigeration mechanic. I can hook my own up if I want, and that's where I think I'm going to go. So I don't know how to really talk about this, but I think it's what do you want? I've heard some people online talking about making sure that when you buy a brew system, or whatever brew system you build, that it doesn't take the fun out of brewing. I think that's important. I looked at some of these systems and I started asking people online, okay, if I buy this system, it's a 3-vessel system, you know, they're talking about with like a Hermes coil, and then you got your mash tun, so you've got like 3 vessels there that are either full of water or you're boiling in for your wort. That's 3 vessels you got to take care of. And you got a couple pumps. You got to clean those pumps, and then there's all of the cleaning of all the system after. And I've heard guys saying they do a brew day. You know, a brew day usually takes 4 or 5 hours, and then they got 2, 3, 4 hours of cleaning. Right now, I can do a brew day in about 4.5 hours, and I can clean everything while I'm doing mash or while I'm doing the boil, and have an extra hour maybe of cleaning with the same result. The only thing I want to be able to do is brew more than 10 gallons at a time. I like to be able to brew up to 20 gallons if I can. But it comes down to, what do you want? Right now, I'm actually going to open up one of my beers that I brewed recently, and the funny thing is about brewing is there's no label. And I do have beers that I've labeled. I've had videos on that before for my stout, but this one here, it's either going to be one of my Kolsch beers that I brewed, or it's going to be one of my apricot sours. So let's see what we got here. Let's give it a sniff. That's a Kolsch. That's a Kolsch. This is my second Kolsch that I've done, and it's been awesome. It's tasted so good, and I'm going to do another video, I think, called How Low Can You Go? And I use USO5 with this beer. And USO5 is a pretty clean fermenting ale yeast. And if you look into the history of Kolsch, and it's in Cologne, Germany, read in that why they use an ale yeast at a low temperature. And it's a really interesting story. Like I smell this just like this gentle aroma, like a lager. It's really cool. Take a sip. It's so smooth. This tastes as good as a lager could taste. I've never made a lager yet. I think I'm gonna make a lager for my channel, just because I brew at home. I have to do it. I've already done sours. I've done lots of different ales. I do have to do a lager. It's just, I have to do it. But this beer, now it does have a bit of a haze to it. You can't see through it. When I was bottling this, it was pretty clear, but it does have a chill haze that came through. I'm fine with that. It's okay. It has just a delicious flavor to it. I've had a couple people try it, and they say it reminds them a little bit of a Heineken. Don't think it has quite the same flavor as Heineken. Heineken a little more crisp on the end of it. This one, the aroma is very low. There's no esters. Like it's like you wouldn't think it's an ale. It's carbonated to about 3.5 carbonation. It's very low in hops. It has this nice rounded body to it that has an aftertaste that floats away off your tongue after a couple seconds. It's a delicious beer. I mean, anyone who's had this beer so far really likes it. And I like all sorts of different kinds of beers. I like stouts. When you get to stouts, I like the sweeter stouts. I don't like the dry stouts. I like the sweeter stouts. I love IPAs as long as they're not too bitter. I like an American Pale Ale. I love NEPAs. I like the fruitiness in the nose. But this one here is what they call lawnmower beer. Is really good. And I made this on a system that costs less than $1,000, all gravity. So I reminisce back to what I think about buying a bigger brew system. And I mean, I've been doing this now for about 3 years, home brewing all grain. And there's nothing wrong if you don't all grain brew, but I really like what I can do with an all grain brew. I can change it up and I can make any kind of beer I want pretty easily. It's just more labor intensive. But that's what I've really been trying to think about is what system do I want? And right now, I'm stuck with the system I have until I change my mind. So just me reminiscing about this and just had to say a few words and put another video on my channel here, guys. This is Sean, as you know who I am, and Canadian Brew Channel. Please subscribe, click the bell so you see my next video. But that's my 2 hops for now. So with no further ado, thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.